wrist, twist it like it's stir fry. Whip it in the kitchen wrist, twist it like it's stir fry. Whip it in the kitchen wrist, twist it like it's stir fry. Okay, side note. The only reason I chose that song for this, well, not the only reason. 2 reasons I chose that song for this intro is because, number one, I've had that fudging song stuck in my head since last night at the airport. It's 1:09 p.m. and I still had that song stuck in my head. And then I came home, you know what I did? Made stir fry for lunch. So thanks, Migos, really got me in the spirit for today. Hello everyone, it's Saturday and time for another coffee with Cass. It is 1 o'clock, so this is now my second coffee. My mug says, I love you with all my butt. I would say my heart, but my butt is bigger. Accurate and on brand. As promised, I'm home in my apartment and I'm alone. Literally alone. Which is odd because I have, as you know, 2 animals, and so to not have either of them here, I don't want to say it's super depressing, but it is very, very sad to have come home last night from the airport. No animals, nobody to snuggle with except my giant teddy bear. So, you know, I mean, life goes on. It was just sad coming home with no little babies to cuddle with and nobody else. So, but I'm home for the weekend. I have some stuff to take care of here, so I came back to LA, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing for the weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed the questions video. I know it was late going up, but I think sometimes it's important to take time to be with your family and people you care about and not focus on, especially because like I'm not a YouTuber by any means at this point in life. Sorry, that was probably gross. I do this because I just want to. I have other jobs to support myself financially. And so this is just something that I want to do to just kind of, it's not like my journal because I have a journal and I write in it and just, you know, document my thoughts and feelings about stuff. But this is more just something that I had an idea for and just wanted to put out there. So it's not necessarily something that affects my income, so I'm very, I guess, grateful that I'm not reliant on having a set posting schedule or anything like that. It was just, I needed to take that time to be with my family, and but I hope you guys enjoyed it and that I got to everyone's questions and answered them to the best of my abilities. I know I get really rambly, and I'm sure you do too if you watch these videos on a regular basis. So, you know, I just talk and talk and talk until I get thirsty. I forgot to put my phone on silent, so good job, past me. So, speaking of other jobs or things to support myself, I have decided that this week I wanted to talk about jobs that I have had and jobs that I had to have had throughout my life, if that makes any sort of sense, because I was thinking on the plane and a little bit over the weekend, or I'm sorry, over the week. I'm not working right now. I'll just put that out there. So I tend to forget what day it is, and so I have spent this entire week being on the wrong day mentally. For instance, on Monday I kept thinking it was Tuesday, Tuesday kept thinking it was Wednesday. So I've just been sort of like a day ahead every day, except yesterday I spent thinking it was Sunday because usually if I'm flying home it's on a Sunday and I have to work on Monday. But since I'm an unemployed person right now, I didn't have a job to come back to. I had other things to handle. So it's just weird, but I should know that today's Saturday because I'm recording, so obviously it should be Saturday because that's when I decided that this would be my recording date. So long story long, I don't know what day it is, but it's Saturday, and so throughout the week I was trying to think of things that I wanted to talk about, because I like to kind of have an idea so that I don't just get on here and ramble for like 15 minutes about nothing. So I wanted to talk about that, and I would love to know what jobs you guys have wanted or considered throughout your life, or what you do now, because that's something that I get a lot, is people ask me what I do for work, and it's not the easiest answer because not everyone understands what I do or is familiar with it, but I'll get to that in just a minute. So, backstory, from the ages of, I would say probably whenever I had any sort of cognitive memory and function, wanted to be an actress. And so that was my thing. Like when I was 4, that was my goal. You know, kids want to be like firefighters and doctors and whatever. I just wanted to entertain people. And so that's, I guess, how I have become the office jester in my adult life. But it's okay. You know, it's nice to kind of break the tension. So that was the first thing that I wanted to be, and I think I kind of stuck with that. There were probably other things that I wanted to do. I thought about being a dancer for a long time, not a stripper, like an actual like ballerina. And so the big plan was that I was going to go to Juilliard and become a dancer and live in New York. And then I saw the movie Coyote Ugly, and I wanted that to be my life. And I also still want for John Goodman to be my dad, be it in real life or television, because he's just such a dad, and I love that about him. He's got very dad-like qualities, and so that's something that I saw and decided, okay, I'm gonna go to Juilliard and become a dancer. And then when I turned 21, which I guess I was assuming I would graduate college at 22, which is, I'll also explain that didn't happen for me. I figured, okay, I'll go to Juilliard and then start working as a bartender and going on auditions and living that starving artist life until I can figure it out. And that did not happen in any sort of way. After that, let's see. So that, I think, was my goal up until I was a freshman in high school. And so my freshman year, I said that I wanted to do that. And then for whatever reason, I was so jaded my junior year of high school that we had the option, if you didn't know what you wanted to do, you could say explore options, which is basically an indirect way of saying, I don't have any idea what the hell I want to do with my life, so just throw a bunch of things my way and I'll figure it out. And there was a hot minute where I wanted to be a pharmacy technician, solely for the money. I do not know, I'm not medically inclined whatsoever. Both of my siblings have gone to school or trained or worked in some way in the medical field, and I am absolutely not that way. I've always been kind of the oddball of my siblings, and I guess my family in general. Like, my dad was an educator for several years. My mom is a massage therapist and she has an occupational therapy degree. So all my family is very medically inclined, and then there's me. So I just don't really fit in. Not like my family shuns me in any way. They're very accepting of my job and my my chosen path of work. But it's weird because I'm the only one who does that. So anytime I try to explain it or whatever, I can't really relate to them because they're all like, oh, you could take this medicine or do this thing. And I'm like, I mean, I could tell you how to fix a joke or something, you know? But it's okay, they still love me, and that's all that matters. So that was a thing, because we used to have, where I'm from, there was I guess a girls' weekend camp type of thing called Expanding Your Horizons. And this was where they would take girls who were, I think, anywhere from elementary to early high school. You could probably go your freshman and sophomore year, but then they're like, all right, you're way too old for this, you better stay home. And so I used to go to that every year, and they would have the pharmacy technicians workshop. I think it was called magic lotion and something potions, something very cheeky. And basically they would teach you how to make a headache cream, vitamins. We would crush them up and put them into plastic capsules. So it was very not scientific, but it was very medically related. And so I was into that for a while, and they told us the starting rates for a pharmacy tech and if you get certified or get your degree or something like that. So I was like, oh, well, I can just do that for money and that's fine. But I've never been really passionate about anything in the medical field, which I feel bad about because it's not like I don't care about other people. It's just that I don't know. I have a hard time finding the mental capacity to remember all those things, and so I feel if I were to go into that, I would be doing a huge disservice to the medical industry because I'm like, you know, like, not that I don't care, but I'm not into any of this, and I don't want to have to force myself to come into work. I just want to kind of do my thing and have that be it. So, long story long, again, I am not working in the medical field. After that, we had, where I'm from, they have the Gila bike races every year, which is where just a bunch of people ride their bikes and race around. I'm sure it's riveting if you're into it, but I never really understood it. And so there was one year that Lance Armstrong himself, before he got caught doping or whatever it was, I don't want to be misinforming you, he came and was racing. And so everybody lost their minds, and they literally took every student in my school out of class, and we all stood on the roadside where they were going to be coming through and had to wait and watch for Lance Armstrong, and they were gone like that. Like, it wasn't even, we were outside waiting for longer than we were actually seeing them. And so I had gone to McDonald's because I used to eat fast food pretty frequently, and I had this like cardboard cutout microphone, and I was just going up to everyone and saying, "You just saw Lance Armstrong, how do you feel?" and like holding it into their face. And so there was a hot second that I considered being a news reporter, or I wanted to be a news anchor, and didn't do that either. That same year, I had to take, I think it was like a life skills class or something like that in high school. And so they asked all of us like what we want to do for our careers. And so some people wanted to be mechanics, other people wanted to be like nurses, or like these really like nice like community service oriented careers. And I was like, I want to be a daytime talk show host. So that I was that asshole. And I don't know, I guess this is like my outlet for that. But I mean, I haven't had any guests, but that would definitely be something that I'm open to. But that was what I was thinking at that time, was just like trying to explore what I wanted to do, just trying different things. And I was like, all right, well, maybe this whole entertainment thing isn't going to work out for me because I'm fat and unattractive and I don't think anybody's going to want to watch me. So I got back into that rut for a while. And then I think when I was a junior, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was just kind of going through the motions and trying to figure it out. And then my senior year, I realized I really needed to step up my game and figure out like where I wanted to get in life, what I wanted to do, because I was at the point where I needed to figure out what schools I wanted to go to, and that then would lead me to a career that I wanted. And so my high school English teacher, hi Sarah, if you're watching, she told me about Emerson College, which is where I actually ended up going, and that they have a lot of different communications degrees, and that I should look into that because her friend did it and really loved it, and I was the weirdo theater kid, and so I would probably do really well there. And so I did. I ended up going there. I think my senior year, I got back into being able to have the confidence to say, I want to be an actress, I want to entertain people. I think I can look or have my mom look, but we had a paper that said every year, that's where I'm getting this whole like, what do you want to do? Like, what are your goals, whatever. We had a paper where we had to actually write that down, and I think for my goals for my senior year, I put finish out like a champ or something stupid, because I was, side note, I was class clown of my graduating class, so I'm not surprised that that was my answer to that question. But yeah, so that was my journey through what I wanted to do when I was in high school. Meanwhile, I was working as a car hop, and then person who takes the order, and then basically everything up to management at Sonic Drive-In, which is a fast food chain, when I was in high school. And then I went to college, and it was the first time that I was going to be having a job that wasn't Sonic, and I felt really guilty, oddly, because I think I had established such a loyalty to having one job throughout high school, and I never quit, I never left. That was the only place besides like Wendy's for a week or two, I think, that I worked. So it was just weird for my small town little brain to kind of wrap around the fact that I was going to have many other jobs besides working at Sonic. I've worked at Dunkin' Donuts before. I think I've mentioned that, and so that's part of where that obsession began. I did mention that actually last week in my other video. Boom, done. It tasted weird. I didn't have any creamer in my fridge, so I figured whipped cream would work. It didn't. It does not taste very good. Do not recommend. But anyway, so when I was in college, I mostly worked in restaurants, just because I lived in Boston and that was the best and easiest way for me to make money. There was at one point that I had 3 jobs, working at Dunkin' Donuts and 2 different restaurants, so that was not fun. And then I moved to Los Angeles and finished college, and I worked for Postmates for a hot second. I still kind of do, very, very casually. And I will say, I'm not one of those Postmates drivers who will text you every 2 minutes to let you know what's going on. Postmates is a delivery service that we have out here in LA, akin to Seamless in New York, apparently. And yeah, so then I worked in a restaurant again. And then I had this realization about a year out of college where I thought to myself, like, it's been almost a year that I've been out of school, and I got a degree in film production from a private school, and I'm in so much student loan debt, and I'm not using it at all. Like, so it almost seemed like it wasn't worth it to have invested that much time and money and energy into getting. I did graduate in 3 years at 20 years old because I graduated high school at 17, but it just seemed like I was just like pissing all that away. So I got a job as a PA for a show on Food Network and just quit the job that I had because I was tired of being treated like garbage every time I would come in, and I decided I'm just going to work in entertainment full time. So I did that, and then I was an unemployed person for a little bit, and then I got my first job as a casting assistant at a company here in LA, and I did that at that company for a while, and so that's pretty much where I've been working my way up now. And so for the future, a lot of times people will ask what my goals are, and so in terms of like my career itself, I would love to continue to work in entertainment. It's been over this last year, I only did that, which I'm very proud of, because I didn't have to take any other like side jobs or do anything. I think I drove like for Postmates for a couple weeks when I just needed some extra money to make a deposit on this lovely apartment. But other than that, I've solely worked in entertainment, and I'm very grateful because it's not very common, especially in this industry. So I'm very lucky for that. And I think for the future, this is going to sound very cheesy, but it's true. I would love to get paid to do stand-up comedy, and even if I were on the road, I would enjoy that. Actually, unpopular opinion, I love traveling. I love going places, I love seeing things, experiencing new, not even cultures, just like new, because like in America we have a pretty similar culture. There's like mixes of stuff, but in general it's sort of similar. It's not like as if you go to London or something like that. It's just like meeting different people, going to different communities, and kind of seeing like what it's like there. I worked in Oklahoma, or was it Oklahoma? Yeah, I worked in Oklahoma for a couple days last year, and I got to go to the Pioneer Woman Mercantile, which was one of my favorite experiences of last year because I love her so much. But I won't get into that. But yeah, I think in the future I would love to be a touring stand-up comedian. That would be amazing. But nobody's paying me to do comedy or YouTube right now, so I guess we'll just keep chugging along at that dream. And yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends. I'm at the mercy of the jobs that I can get right now, and so I'm very hopeful moving forward, and we'll see what happens. But you know, I'm still gonna be here just making these weekly videos, and so I think I've talked enough. We're at about 1942. And so I'm going to sign off for today. I don't have a cute animal to show you and say bye, so it's just going to be this natural face here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye, guys.